Good morning. I'm Elton Robinson with your September 17th grain and soybean report. I didn't have time to provide an update from last week's USDA's crop production and supply and demand estimates, so let's start with that. U.S. corn production is forecast at 13.6 billion bushels, down 4% from last year's record production, but down less than 1% from the August forecast. Based on conditions as of September the 1st, yields are expected to average 167.5 bushels per acre, down 1.3 bushels from the August forecast and down 3.5 bushels from 2014. Still, this is the second highest yield and the third highest production on record for the United States. Soybean production is forecast at 3.94 billion bushels, up slightly from August but down 1% from last year. As of September 1, yields are expected to average 47.1 bushels per acre, up 0.2 of a bushel from last month, but down 0.7 of a bushel from last year. Area for harvest in the United States is forecast at a record 83.5 million acres. Grain sorghum production is estimated at 574,000 bushels, a 33% increase over last year. Yields are estimated right at 75 bushels per acre, which is slightly higher than last month, with increases for Nebraska, Missouri, and Kansas offsetting lower estimates for Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Texas. U.S. rice production is estimated at 189,500 hundredweight. That's a substantial 7.5% drop from last month's estimate of a little over 205,000 hundredweight, and down 14% or 31,500 hundredweight from last year. In Arkansas, strange temperature fluctuations and rainy weather during June likely knocked expected rice yields down 10 to 15%, according to Extension Rice Specialist Jared Hartke. USDA reported a decrease in rice yield of 150 pounds for Arkansas, 100 pounds for California, 50 pounds for Louisiana, 300 pounds for Missouri and Texas. Mississippi reports a 100 pound increase from last month. Now let's move to exports. This is the first full week of exports for the new marketing year 2015-2016. Wheat exports of 542,000 metric tons were up 8% from the previous week and 9% from the prior 4-week average, with Brazil, the Philippines, and Nigeria as primary destinations. Corn exports of 806,000 metric tons were primarily to Mexico, Japan, and South Korea. Sorghum exports of 109,000 metric tons went to China and Mexico. Rice exports of 74,300 metric tons were down 22% from the previous week. Panama and Libya were primary customers. Soybean exports of 371,400 metric tons were primarily to Mexico, the Netherlands, Japan, and Taiwan. Soybean meal exports were down 8% from the previous week and 18% from the prior 4-week average, while soybean oil exports fell 62% from the previous week and 70% from the prior 4-week average. Beef exports of 8,800 metric tons were down 6% from the previous week, while pork exports of almost 15,000 metric tons were up 4%. Well, that's it for the September 17th grain report. I'm Elton Robinson. See you next week.